Hi everyone, it's Laura and welcome back to Book Bubbler and a little belated, as is the usual this week, day 24 of Vlogmas. Oh, home stretch, right? Okay, so today I have some of my favorite Christmas movies. Now, I'm going to do a chunk of them in like honorable mention spot, and then the rest of them are my actual favorites, and I'm only going to rank my absolute favorite. The rest of them I just like too much to rank. So in the honorable mention section, we have got Love Actually, Christmas in Connecticut, Elf, The Family Stone, The Holiday, even though two of the actors drive me bonkers. The Harry Potter movies, just in general, collectively, they just feel so nostalgic. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, and Die Hard and Die Hard 2, and Sneakers. Now, I know there's controversy about Die Hard being a Christmas movie or not. It's kind of 50-50 split. All of these movies and everything I've mentioned, actually, I will watch all year round. I don't care what time of year it is. I still watch them. So they're universal, but they have elements that happen at Christmas time. Die Hard 2 is a winter movie because it's happening in the snow. It's in the winter again. It's sort of Christmassy, but it's, yeah, more wintry than that. So that's why I think it's a Christmas movie. And for Sneakers, I love this movie so much. I mean, it is dated because it's about technology and it's from 20 years ago or something. But it was one of my dad's favorite movies, and I really like the humor in it, and there's a whole bunch of it that takes place in the beginning in winter around Christmas, and then there's also a bunch that takes place at Christmas to near the end. So those are my honorable mentions. So to my favorites now. A Christmas Story, of course. I mean, we could never afford the VHS when it was first out and really popular. So when TNT, is it TNT or TBS, does 24 Hours of a Christmas Story, I mean, that's always on in the background pretty much. But everything about it, Ralphie and Red Ryder and Scott Farkus and Bumpuses, and I'll try to insert an image here of even on the freeway system when I was driving last week. They put up this sign and it made me laugh out loud. So when I came back the other direction too, I made sure to get my phone out and take a picture. I was very safe, but it really made me laugh. So A Christmas Story is just perennial classic. Okay, then we have A Christmas Carol. Now there are lots and lots of versions of it, but there's really only two that I like. The first one is from 1938 with Reginald Owen and Jean and Kathleen Lockhart. This is one I watched when I was a little kid. It's one my mom watched since she was a little kid. It's only really good in black and white, though it tends to be shown colorized these days, which I see the goods and bad for it, but it should be in black and white in my brain. And I remember being a little terrified by Scrooge's smile at the end. But mostly it's just a really wonderful adaptation, and the special effects are way impressive considering the year and everything. I was amazed. I thought everything was real when I was a kid, so I couldn't believe that it was that old and that impressive. So that's one adaptation. And the other one, which is just the best one ever, is the Muppets version from '92. It's so great, and I love the Muppets anyways, but it's such a wonderful adaptation. All the music is wonderful, and anything with Rizzo in it, I am there for. So absolutely Muppets Christmas Carol. Absolutely. Okay, then I have The Shop Around the Corner. This is from 1940 with Jimmy Stewart and Margaret Sullivan. It's so good. It takes place in Budapest. Jimmy and Margaret, excuse me, are co-workers, and they don't like each other very much. So as they have this rivalry in the shop, every day they like each other less and less. They also both joined this pen pal thing, and they're falling in love through letters. So Shop Around the Corner is so heartwarming and wonderful, and I love the way it's paced. I just love everything about it. I also do very much like You've Got Mail, of course, even though the end really makes me mad. But it's so cozy, and it's, you know, Hanks and Meg Ryan. I mean, you can't really go wrong there either. So that's wonderful. But Shop Around the Corner is just, it's just excellent. Then I have the Polar Express. Yeah, it seems a little dated technology-wise, but there's something about the magic of that movie and all of the belief, lack of belief, and then belief in that movie. I will sob every single time. I think what really gets me is when the train is trying to cross the ice. Like, that's the first time where I really get choked up. And then from then on, it's pretty much just a faucet of tears. But it's just so good and heartwarming, and I really adore it. Okay, then I have The Christmas Toy, Jim Henson's The Christmas Toy. If you were a kid in the 80s, I'm sure you watched this. There's this one, and there are 2 or 3 other movies that came out in the 70s and 80s that were by Jim Henson, that were not the Muppets, but other Muppets. And they had an introduction and an outro with Kermit the Frog. They were awesome, and they're hard to find with the introduction at the beginning and end these days. They tend to get cut off for DVD releases, so I don't buy them. I just troll online for them and try and find them every year. But The Christmas Toy, back to it. We follow a stuffed tiger, and he is going to be the main present for one of the kids in the household. And at night, all the toys come alive. Every toy comes alive. I know, it sounds like Toy Story. And they all have a life outside of it. And if anything living, if any human or animal catches you moving around and walking around and talking, then you die and you never come alive again. So all these toys have their life, but they're very cautious about the cat that lives in the house and the kids and everybody else. So when they have parties at night, they have to be kind of quiet, and someone should be a lookout. So this tiger, this toy tiger, thinks he is the best toy of the year. And then he finds downstairs, already wrapped up under the tree, but she busts out Meteora, this new doll. And the tiger forgets, he starts to doubt himself and think that he's not that important and no one's going to love him anymore. I mean, I'm getting some things wrong. It's been 2 years since I've seen it, but I just love that movie. It's because it was new when I was a kid too. I think that makes it even more of an impression, but so good. If you can find The Christmas Toy, I highly recommend. It makes me cry as well. Everything makes me cry, just so you know. Okay, then number 2 on my list, It Happened on Fifth Avenue. It's on right now on Turner. I'm so delighted to have it on. This is from 1947 with Charles Ruggles. Oh my gosh. I don't remember anyone else's name, and it's on right now. I just remember Charles Ruggles. So, oh, it's so lovely. Okay, so a tramp comes to this closed for the winter season, this closed mansion in New York City. And he and his dog move in every year, 2 days after the owners move out and close up shop. And he stays there from November to March. And he leaves 3 days before the owners come back. And he just spends the winter there. It's a safe place for him to stay. There's plenty of food. No one ever knows he's there. So this year, he lets himself in the usual way and runs into a vet who just got evicted from his home and invites him to stay with him. You know, there are house rules. You're very respectful. We're quiet. We don't make a fuss. You know, no one uses the front door. And pretty soon, the actual owner's daughter, who's running away from home, she's 18, or running away from school, excuse me, she shows up in the house because she's stealing her own clothes to run away. She wants to not go to school anymore and live her own life. And she overhears the 2 guys talking and explaining why they can't call the cops on her because they're trespassers as well. So she knows what's going on, thinks it's wonderful, and just plays along with them. Her father, the millionaire, is incredibly grouchy, only cares about profits and not people, has not lived with his wife for, I think, 4 or 5 years. So as the days go on, they slowly amass a quite large group of people that need places to stay. There are several vets with their wives and their kids and dogs that need somewhere to stay. The millionaire ends up finding out about it and poses as a homeless person and is staying in his own house. So he's planning on kicking them out, but will he do it or not? His wife finds out about it and gets in on the action. It's so heartwarming and wonderful, and I think the last couple of years finally it's gotten to be better known, but before that hardly anyone really talked about it that I ever heard as a Christmas classic. But it's so wonderful. Please do yourself a favor and try and find it. I cannot wait to finish this up and get back to watching it. Okay, and my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. This came out the year before I was born, and I have watched it every year my entire life. The whole storyline is fabulous. It's based on a children's book by Russell Hoban. I think it's Russell Hoban. That sounds right. If not, I'll correct it below. But we follow Emmett and his ma. His pa has died. They're very poor, and they want to get each other a very nice gift for Christmas, but they don't have any money. So Ma decides she wants to buy Emmett a banjo? No, a tool chest, I think. And she decides to start taking in extra laundry to earn extra money. And Emmett, it's amazing I can't remember this stuff, and I've seen this so many times. And Emmett wants to buy his ma a piano, but can't afford it. So he decides to enter, they both decide to enter, do extra things. Emmett does more odd jobs around the town with his buddies. And they're really a little group. And they both hear about this singing contest, and they decide to enter because the prize money is enough to get each other the gift that they want. So in secret they're rehearsing, in secret they're doing all this stuff to try and help each other out. In the meantime, there's this ragtag, really rough kind of biker group with a snake and a fish that ride on the bikes with them. And they hear about the prize, and they want the prize themselves, and they want new drums, or they just want the money. I don't remember, but they were really scary when I was a kid. So you follow the three of them, essentially, these three groups of people, as they go to rehearse and then compete for the song winner of the year. There's so many heartwarming memories, and there's so much nostalgia built in. And if you've lost someone, like I think they talk about grief very nicely. There are lots of moments that are very funny that make me laugh when they go sliding down onto the river from the bank. And this is just the best. So Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Again, I will cry throughout most of it. I cry easily. What can I say? All right. I think that's it for me today. That's enough. Have you guys seen any of these movies? Do you disagree with any of them? Let me know if you want to check anything of them out too. And if you have any movies that you would like me to watch too, I'd be very happy to retroactively go back and watch lots of Christmas stuff. I usually do through January anyway, so please let me know your favorites below too. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. I'm going to get to wrapping my presents because I have wrapped none of them so far. And I'll get to watching It Happened on Fifth Avenue. Get back to it. So I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.